what can be normal is for a man to focus on his mother's needs and to do what he can to be there for her, and to neglect most of his own needs. And so apart from sleeping and eating and a few other basic things, the rest of his needs will be overlooked. And so he might not exercise, he might not take care of his emotional needs, his need for intimacy, his need to relax, to be happy. All these things can be completely disregarded. But although he will be neglecting most of his needs, it doesn't mean that he will realize this. And so through being so caught up in what is going on for his mother and being there for her, he will be oblivious to the fact that he is neglecting most of his needs. And this can mean that he has a tendency to feel drained and frustrated and deeply depressed. But as he is not aware of what is going on and is unable to join the dots, there will be no reason for him to change his behavior. And in order for him to realize that he is living in the wrong way, he may need to have a breakdown or a breakup, or to have a serious illness. And this can then be a time when he will gradually be able to realize that he is neglecting himself, that he is out of alignment with who he is. And if this was to take place, if he was to come to see that he is neglecting himself, and he was to imagine putting his needs first, he could end up being overwhelmed with guilt and shame. So instead of him putting his needs first and this feeling right and comfortable, he will end up feeling uncomfortable and as though this is bad. And at this point he could struggle to understand why he feels this way, because if this is the right thing, he shouldn't feel this way. And what this is likely to show is that during his early years, his mother used him to meet some of our adult and unmet childhood needs. And so whenever he tried to meet some of his needs, he is likely to have been punished, disapproved of, and or abandoned. And so he would have come to believe that there was something wrong with his needs and that they were bad. And so in order to handle this stage of his life, he had to disconnect from his own needs and feelings, and to be focused on his mother, he had to develop a false self that allowed him to handle a very toxic environment. And most likely his mother didn't realize that he was a separate being who had his own needs and feelings. She simply would have seen him as a possession and as an extension of her. His sole purpose was then not to receive what he needed in order to grow and develop. His sole purpose was to be there for her and to meet her needs. And so naturally, he would not have stayed connected to himself, and he would have been forced to abandon himself. And now that he is an adult, he will continue to abandon himself, because as he didn't receive what he needed to grow into a strong and empowered adult, deep down he will still feel like a child, and his survival will still be attached to his mother. And so if he doesn't please his mother, if he doesn't do what she wants, he will end up feeling as though he will be punished and abandoned, and that his life will come to an end. And so in order for the man to put his needs first and to realize that there is nothing wrong with his needs and he is here to live his own life, not to be here for his mother, most likely he will have a lot of beliefs to question and emotional wounds to work through, so that he is able to emotionally grow up and to live a life that is worth living. So if you're a man and you can relate to this, you can see that you feel overwhelmed with guilt and shame if you put your needs first, or even if you just think about putting them first, and you are ready to change your life, then you may need to reach out for external support so that you can gradually work through your pain and to live a life that is worth living. If you would like to find out more about the services that I offer, please go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk, and I'm looking forward to assisting you on your journey.